Happy Halloween, everybody. I'm the Travelbox Gamer, and welcome back to Scooby-Doo Nights of Frights.
The gargoyle!
Last episode, I brought up Scooby-Doo movies and how we can incorporate their villains as bosses in this game if they ever do. Oh, I missed it. That sucks. I kind of needed that. Anyway, we left off on the live-action Scooby-Doo movie, which I said I don't know how exactly that's gonna work because, you know, Scrappy was technically the villain behind it all. I mean, the monsters could probably work. Whoops. That was an accident. Oh. Well, I guess it does kind of matter if you do die because the keys resetted. Huh. Okay. Taking back that statement, it does matter when you do die because you lose your keys, but at the same time, if you go for the Scooby snacks, you don't need to worry, and I am not making these jumps. Why am I not making these jumps? Come on, do not. Gosh, why? Anyway, so, yeah, the last movie we were talking about was the live-action Scooby-Doo movies. I'm not having a good time here. I'm not having a good time here, everybody. Not gonna lie. There we go. Do not get hit. I said do not get hit. You know, I have vague memories of this part also messing with me as a kid. Okay, nice. Please tell me that worked. Thank you. I hate you. I hate this. Oh, no, I'm not Scooby-Doo. I'm the Black Knight. Dork. Alright, now that I'm done, you know, getting beat in this one location, let's get back to what I was saying. I was talking about the live-action movie. If they use the villain as a boss fight, how would it go down? I think it'd be interesting... Don't die. Thank you. I think it'd be interesting if they made it a giant boss fight. Like, you know what I mean, like the boss is gigantic, like you have to fight a giant boss, basically. On the grounds that Scrappy is gigantic during this movie, and it also kind of helps with another boss down the line. But, sadly, that's kind of all I'm drawing for the, you know, Scrappy boss fight. That's, like, can't really think of much of a concept other than, you know, keep him gigantic, keep it menacing. I think that would make the boss fight a little different. And like I said, there is another boss that could benefit from being gigantic down the line. Oh wait. I'm looking at the list. It's literally the next movie on the list. The next movie for Scooby-Doo, according to this page, is The Legend of the Vampire. Now, the vampire itself is gigantic in the movie. Of course, you know it's a special effect made by some dude, but if it were to be put into a game, I think it'd be an intimidating boss fight. I think it also had like 3 minions as well, so they could be like little mini boss fights, and we don't have the thing for this. Duly noted, we'll come back here later. Take you like, I don't know, grab the ledge and I grab onto your legs and I jump up and pull you up? No? Like so expand! Where are we going? I'm just taking you to the pit, don't worry. What are we gonna do at the pit, Scoob? I'm just gonna see what happens if I throw you off. Why? Because I didn't think the game would let me. I mean, technically it didn't, but I'm still finding it funny that actually let me throw him off. Don't worry, he used 0.1% of his power to survive and retaliate, so we're good. Alright, so the next movie on the list is Scooby-Doo and the Monster of Mexico. And I will say this, when I watched this movie, I didn't think that was a Chupacabra. I thought that was... I forgot you are here. I hate that I forgot you are here. I hate that monster, and dude, that ghost making that sound is kind of creepy. Legitimately kind of creepy. I don't know what he's saying, but it's unnerving. So, continuing. When I saw Scooby-Doo and the Monster of Mexico, I was like, that's not a Chupacabra. That's not a Chupacabra. That is a freaking Bigfoot. I don't remember Chupacabra ever being depicted looking like a Bigfoot. Usually, what I remember is that Chupacabras are usually like lanky as creatures. That's probably the most common description I remember looking up. And I was like, he's still terrifying. Like, the monster's still terrifying, but to me, it was never a Chupacabra. It was just like a Bigfoot. Personally, that's from my point of view. Now, another part of the movie, I saw that coming a mile away. I should just went the other way. Wait, is there another way? I hope there's another way, because if there's not, it's gonna be a little awkward getting all the Scooby snacks down there. I'm pretty sure there is, so it wouldn't just make... Yeah, there it is. Okay, we're good. Oh, I missed one. Grab it. No? Now, anyway, like I was saying, in Scooby-Doo and the Monster of Mexico, I'm gonna die. I remember there was this one dude in the movie who was dressed up as a skeleton, operating a machine, telling, you know, people to go away. And I think it was Freddy who said, you know, they probably understand you better if you spoke Spanish, because, you know, you're in Mexico, you dork. Obviously not the direct quote, but it's what played in my head whenever he said that. But the dude dressed up as a skeleton, arrogantly said, well, I don't speak Spanish. Did I speak? Oh, thank goodness. I thought I got stuck. Well, anyway, the dude dressed up as a skeleton, he arrogantly said, well, I don't speak Spanish, why don't everybody just learn English? And Kid Me was all like, you're stupid. Just straight up, that's my thought process in that whole scene. Like, you're stupid. You go to a place where they're not going to understand you, and then you demand them to understand your language. It's like, you're stupid. Weren't you like some sort of business dude or something along the lines? Like, you should have that skill under your belt, or at least you should know some words so you could get by the language barrier at least. Like, how are you going to plan on doing any form of business if nobody knew how to speak English? If you made that decision yourself to go someplace where you didn't know how to speak the language, that's on you. If it was some higher up that put you on the job and refused to listen to you or something along those lines, I want to say, hey, that's on them. But I'm pretty sure in the movie, he acted on his own. There's nobody forcing him to be there. There's nobody, you know, telling him that he had to go there. I think he actively went there on his own, if memory serves. So, that's just bad business. I mean, Kid Me didn't have those exact thoughts. They were more like, you're stupid for going to a place where they want to understand you if you didn't know how to speak, and left it at that. I was just ranting about the absurdity of the idea, if that was his plan. But the reason why I kind of got into this little rant is because after I saw this movie, that's when I first met my father's side of the family. Now, these guys, they mainly spoke Spanish. They did know English, but they mainly spoke Spanish. And as a kid, I had trouble, you know, communicating with them at first, but every time that I had trouble with them, I kept thinking about that one scene in the movie, and I was like, I don't want to be like that guy. I don't want to be like that guy being rude to my family. Like, I would not want to be rude to my family. So that motivated Kid Me to try a little harder and at least understanding what they were saying, or at least try to learn the language. Granted, Kid Me did not really learn much, but I started understanding what people were saying. I didn't know how to respond with it, but I knew what they were asking me most of the time. Like, how was I doing? What do I want to eat? What are you planning on doing today? Something along those lines. Like, I would tell them what I'm gonna do, what me and my, you know, cousins were gonna do. Like, it got to the point where I picked up what they were saying despite not knowing the exact words on how to respond. But despite that, the main thing that came across us is that we loved each other, and, you know, that's all that really matters. Years later, and I'm saying like years later, I was a senior in high school. Like, I'm saying years later. It wasn't like a couple years. It was like a good few years. I'd say maybe 8 years later, something along those lines. But yeah, I was in high school. It was my senior year, and they said, hey, you kind of need to take Spanish to graduate. And I was like, why didn't you offer it to me during freshman year or something? Because usually people take it early on, not, you know, their senior year. But regardless, I took the class, And there was this one moment in class, I think it was like a few weeks after we started our lesson, one of the students, I forgot how they worded the question exactly, but basically they were asking the difference between dog and butt, because if you see the words, they're very close in spelling. I immediately told the student, before the teacher could even say anything, that dog, as in perro, has 2 R's. And the word butt, perro, only has 1 R. Without even thinking, just saying it out loud, the teacher, she looked impressed. The teacher looked impressed with my answer. Sadly, however, after we graduated high school and I haven't had time to practice my Spanish, I kind of forgot most of it, which I told my friend, and my friend responded with, "You're stupid." And I retorted by telling him, hey, I didn't forget everything, okay? I know some basic words. I could get by with them. I'm just not gonna have a full-on conversation with somebody. Now, my friend here, he's one of my best friends, meaning that he could get away with saying certain things to me that other people want to get away with. And one of the things he likes to do is bust my chops from time to time. He would say, "Anthony, you're both Mexican and Portuguese, yet you have no idea how to speak either of the languages." And to that I say, I know some words. Granted, all the Portuguese that I know is just some form of an insult or curse word. But for Spanish, the one phrase that I committed to my memory is "I'm sorry." I even took it upon myself to go further than just "I'm sorry." I learned to say "I'm sorry, but I don't speak Spanish well," which, if I'm correct, I think it goes "Lo siento, pero no hablo bien el español." I think it's been a while since I said that phrase, and the only reason I ever said that phrase to begin with was because I was talking to this one dude in class. I was telling him that Spanish just isn't my first language, and I get a little nervous that I'm not speaking it well enough. So I came up with the conclusion that I'm just gonna tell people that Spanish isn't my first language, that I don't speak it well. And he spoke Spanish, so he was like, "Okay, let me hear what you got." And I told him the phrase, and he's like, "You know what, that's actually pretty good." Which made me feel a little happy, because my goal was not to be disrespectful to the language. I didn't want to seem like I'm just taking it for, as a joke or taking it lightly. I want to show my respect where I can. And all of this stems from one dude in Scooby-Doo who was being a disrespectful punk when I was like at the age of 7 watching that show. It's funny what motivates us in life sometimes. It's kind of funny what motivates us in life. I don't think I could get to the other area until I get the umbrella. I think we have to wait until then. So we'll just keep going now. Other languages I started picking up. I tried going into French for a while. It wasn't that I kind of not liked it. It was just I figured I should prioritize in either Spanish or Portuguese. So I stopped taking French for the time being. But yeah, I took French for a while. I used Duolingo for this. I was better at speaking and reading the language rather than pronouncing it, but I like to think I got some progress. It's been a while since I've last took a French lesson, so it's kind of wiped out from my mind currently. I remember one time I was taking Spanish and French at the same time, and I got the words mixed up. And instead of saying good night in either languages, which buenas noches for Spanish, bonne nuit for French, I went to this ungodly creation of buenos nuit, and I had to pause and say, that don't sound right. What went wrong, brain? What went wrong? It's just a dial toner response. No, nobody answers. The brain's been disconnected from everything. Just go away. So, continuing on with the rest of the Scooby-Doo movies. Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed. I want to say that's kind of like this game in movie form, actually. Think about it. Monsters Unleashed had a bunch of old monsters from their mysteries come back to life. In this game, we're fighting monsters that are from their old mysteries that are back to life. The only thing that we could add for that, I guess the only thing that we could add for that movie would be the villain, but I feel like it would conflict with the mastermind. Just a little, don't you think? Can I make it? I can make it, cool. I wouldn't have been shocked if I fell to my death, and I could mockingly say, "Oh, you got better at platforming, huh, Anthony?" It don't seem like it. And I'll be like, "Yeah, I have got better at platforming, okay? As a kid, I would have died like 8 times over, 9 times over, 20 times the amount I'm dying right now, right? Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Don't take my quotes and use them against me. Trust me, my gaming skills are a lot better now than they were back then." But, yeah, getting back to what I was talking about, the second live-action movie, I don't think it could really be implemented with the main villain, because it'd just be like the mastermind, just, you know, slightly different. So, maybe not that one. Though some of the enemies, some of the monsters that appeared in that movie do appear here. I think the Black Knight was one of them. The Tar Monster was another. The zombie being another. We already have that in the game. But there are others that didn't make it in. I think the Electric Ghost being one of them. That'll be a nice boss fight. That'll be a pretty cool boss fight. Will it get frustrating? Probably, because, look, later in the level, one floor is covered with electricity, and it drove me crazy. Let's just leave it at that. What other villains, or what other monsters appeared in the movie? Minor 49er? I could see him being a regular enemy, like, you know, these guys over here. That could work out. Those skeleton dudes out here, I could see them also being like a recurring enemy too. Put them in like the graveyards or something, have them like throw projectiles at you or something like that. The pterodactyl ghost, I could also see that being like an enemy as well, like a flying enemy. It'd be like the ghost, but more... Oh, I missed. Oh, that's nice. So then they put me right here instead of, you know, taking me all the way to the back. That's actually pretty nice. But like I was saying, yeah, the pterodactyl ghost could be like enemy that's like the ghost that we encounter, but more aggressive. Kind of like the flying fish, I guess, but they'll be more like zooming in on you rather than just mindlessly flying around. Like, maybe put it in a later level rather than an early level, so it's like you're more used to the game by then. So it doesn't just outright frustrates any new players and they say, you know what, I don't like this, and just give up, because it does sound a little difficult if you think about this game. Because early levels, they're pretty easy. Later levels get a little more difficult with the jumps, with the hazards, with the monster placements. Though you could also argue that I'm just not as good as I said I was. But still, like, when we make these adjustments to the game, when we plan the bosses, when we make the monsters, if we are going to add to it, we have to take into account, like, how difficult are we going to make the game? Because if a kid's playing it and they don't like playing it, they're not going to play it. They're not going to find it fun. It's an ambitious idea, yeah, but you have to remember there's also a limit to ambition as well. Like, I know I've been brainstorming, throwing in a lot of ideas, but you have to also remember there is also something called too much in one game. Like, way too much in one game. So will all these ideas be put into a game? Probably not. Probably not, but it's nice to imagine. It's nice to think about it. Do I expect this to ever happen? Probably not. Probably not. Unless somebody who has the IP of Scooby-Doo hears this, and they have connections to make it work, then, you know, that's pretty cool of you to, you know, do something like that, you know? I mean, I'm just brainstorming here. If anybody ever has inspiration from what I'm saying, I do not mind. Go for it. I'd rather have the creation be created rather than it sitting in my head forever and not getting created. But But if you do want to compensate me in some way, maybe a credit for the inspiration would be nice. Like, hey, yeah, Chatterbox Gamer, he was spouting out a bunch of nonsense about Scooby-Doo. I heard him in a YouTube video. I decided to make the game because it sounded like a fun idea. So, yeah. I don't even care about the money. Just give me some credit. It'd be nice. All the bad ideas get thrown in one game. Yeah, blame him. It was his ideas, not mine. We have our scapegoat in case the game gets, poor reviews. It told me to go and find one of his inventions, and I have to say, it's number 10. Remember why? We're not at that level yet, but trust me, when we're there, you'll see why. I don't like that level. I don't like that level. You know that meme where someone's playing a game that they loved when they were a kid, and there's that part? That level is that part for me. That level is that part for me. I know you probably think, oh, it's a fishing factory place. I think I might have said it. If I did, a part of me wants to take that back slightly. But also another part of me wants to keep it because on one hand, it traumatized me as a kid. On the other, this level that I'm referring to frustrates me as an adult. So, yeah. Wait for it. Are you kidding me? Alright, hold on. I think I could get that token if I slam into him and jump off his head. Again, the power up for the bubblegum, not the bubblegum, the soap would be pretty good for this situation. Okay, nice and quiet. Don't let him know. Don't let him know. Right about there. There we go. Perfect. Beautiful. Can't believe it actually worked. I can't believe I got it on, like, what, the second try? It might not be the first try, but it's at least the second try. Okay. I guess I'll go there? I'm a bit confused. I mean, I recognize this place, yes, but... Oh, hey, there is something we could get there, but I don't think I get it in this episode. There's this one place with a monster token that you need to have the galoshes to, get to, but I don't think we're gonna get to that in this episode. I think I'm a bit lost. How did I get to the grave from here? We're supposed to go to the graveyard to fight the green ghost so that we could get the umbrella, but how do we get there from here?
The gargoyle.
Give me a minute to think, guys. I'm gonna try to figure out where do I go next. Because it's circling us about, around back to the hedge maze, which I don't think we have any other place to go from there. Huh. What area is it in the hedge maze? Oh, okay. It's this area. I think we do get the monster token in this episode then. But I am gonna have to look at the map and see how the heck do we get from here to the graveyard. I thought it was this way. Huh. We'll probably have this figured out in the next episode, so don't worry. Nice and easy. We're gonna Indiana Jones-ish. We're gonna take it, and we're gonna run. I almost messed up. I almost got caught by the giant thorn ball. Whoops. Alright, well, I think we can call this an episode, so thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time. Take care. Please like and subscribe, and have a happy and safe Halloween.